Pluto images show something bizarre going on there. When NASA's New Horizons probes did a flyby past Pluto in 2015, it showed us a much more dynamic world than one could imagine. NASA sent the New Horizons probe into space in 2006 to explore Pluto, the planet. This space probe sent back one of its most interesting images of the surface of Pluto. The image showed a mysterious object appearing through the surface of the ninth planet. Stick around as we discover what is in the image and what is discovered. Pluto is an icy planet, covered partly with frozen nitrogen shaped like a heart. During the day, a thin layer of this nitrogen ice warms and turns into vapor, and at night, the vapor condenses and turns again into ice. NASA discovered that this frozen nitrogen acts as a beating heart and creates icy wind that forces the atmosphere over there to move backward. With many more possible discoveries from the planet, NASA sent the New Horizons space probe into space to explore the dwarf planet. The New Horizons space probe became the first spacecraft to visit Pluto after being launched in 2006 and returning in July 2015 with incredible details during its brief flyby. New Horizons is a NASA mission to explore the dwarf planet of Pluto and its moon. It was the first mission in NASA's New Frontier program and the first spacecraft to encounter Pluto. By the time the probe reached the Pluto system, it had traveled farther away and for longer than any previous deep space spacecraft launched. During its sojourn, the spacecraft flew by the solar system's largest planet, Jupiter. The encounter with Jupiter further increased the spacecraft's velocity by about 9,000 miles per hour, which helped shorten its trip to Pluto by 3 years. During the flyby, New Horizons conducted a detailed set of observations over 4 months in early 2007. These observations were designed to assemble new data on Jupiter's atmosphere, ring system, and moons and test the spacecraft's instruments. Although the probe observes the moons from a far distance, New Horizons was able to return quality images of Io, including eruptions on its surface, Ganymede, and Europa. After this encounter with Jupiter, New Horizons sped toward the Kuiper Belt till it reached Pluto. When New Horizons reached the planet, it was moving at 52,000 kilometers per hour, so fast it could capture close-ups of only one side of Pluto, the part illuminated by the sun. The other part was temporarily shrouded in shadow. And now that scientists have those near-side close-ups, they are beginning to analyze the other half, which the spacecraft photographed days before it shot past. Researchers call that hemisphere the far side, or even the dark side. In capturing the planet, New Horizons zoomed within 7,800 miles of Pluto, capturing the first-ever close-up images of that distant and mysterious world. Although the images aren't apparent, they still reveal terrain at resolutions ranging from 2 to 30 kilometers. At best, that is 250 times better than the Earth-orbiting Hubble Space Telescope pictures. The images were captured with the Telescopic Long-Range Reconnaissance Imager, LORRI, aboard New Horizons about 15 minutes prior to New Horizons' closest approach to Pluto from just 10,000 miles. The telescope worked unusually. Instead of working in the usual point-and-shoot way, LORRI snapped images every 3 seconds, while the multispectral visual imaging camera was aboard the New Horizons scanning the surface. Although this mode requires unusually short exposures to avoid blurring the images, they were quality. These images are 6 times better in resolution than the global Pluto map obtained earlier on by New Horizons. It was even 5 times better than the best images of Triton, obtained by Voyager 2 in 1989. Mission scientists expected more images from this probe over the next few days, showing more terrain at this high resolution. Harold Weaver, a planetary scientist at Johns Hopkins University and a New Horizons scientist, said the image was juicy data to look at. He added that it would be our best for the next 30 to 40 years. Now, with hundreds of images of the planet to analyze, scientists have a new view of this busy world, information that will provide crucial insight into the details of how it formed, whether there is an ocean hiding underneath its icy crust, and the complex ways that compounds freeze out of the atmosphere and carve its surface. The data bolsters the argument that the chilly world might be fit for life. The image captured is even beyond exploring Pluto's potential for life. The far side measurements have generated several mysteries. When the images first reached Earth, they stunned even the most imaginative researchers and space fans. Scientists noticed a strange terrain that consisted of skyscraper-sized shards of ice along the near side's easternmost region. These well-shaped ridges are only a few kilometers apart, yet rise sharply into the sky, occasionally soaring as high as 1 kilometer. Oliver White, who is a planetary scientist at the SETI Institute in California, said the shards of ice would be a nightmarish landscape to try and navigate. These ice ridges were even nothing more than a blip on the map until scientists discovered something on the far side. Although the map is quite blurry to see the individual ridges themselves, it is clear that the bladed terrain wraps around the far side and comes out again on the western edge of the near side in a previously overlooked region. On the far side, they cover an area 3.5 times larger than their length on the near side, making them one of the strangest discoveries on Pluto. Alan Stern, a planetary scientist at the Southwest Research Institute and the principal investigator of the research, said when they discovered that the terrain is such a widespread type, it became essential to understand it. He even commented that nothing of this quality was available for Venus or Mars until decades after their flyby, but Pluto got it. In less than 5 months after its flyby, we discovered many things: craters, mountains, and ice fields. The science we will do with these images is simply unbelievable, he concluded. As we've said earlier, the space probe sent numerous images of the planet's surface. One of the images showed a mysterious object appearing to slide through the planet's surface. The image was transmitted to Earth through the Long-Range Reconnaissance Imager. This instrument extends New Horizons' highest resolution views of Pluto to the center of Sputnik Planum. This, informally named plain icy form, is the left side of Pluto's heart feature. From the image on the New Horizons spacecraft, Sputnik Planum is a large region of broken and jumbled terrain at a lower elevation than most of the surrounding area, but not completely flat. Its surface is separated into polygons, or cells, 10 to 25 miles wide. When viewed at low sun angles with visible shadows, the cells have slightly raised centers and ridged margins, with about 100 meters of overall height variation. Mission scientists believe the pattern of the cells stems from the slow thermal radiation of the nitrogen-dominated ices that fill Sputnik Planum. In a reservoir that is likely several miles or kilometers deep in some places, the solid nitrogen is warmed at depth by Pluto's modest internal heat, becomes light, and rises in great blobs, and then cools off and vanishes again to renew the cycle. William McKinnon, the deputy leader of the New Horizons Geology, Geophysics, and Imaging team from Washington University, said this part of Pluto is acting like a lava lamp, one huge, wide, and even deeper than the Hudson Bay. Computer models by the New Horizons team show that these blobs of canceling solid nitrogen can slowly evolve and merge over millions of years. The ridged margins, which mark where cooled nitrogen ice sinks back down, can be removed and abandoned. Apart from that, NASA also revealed new images of Pluto's Viking Terra area. In the area, the features scientists find surprising bright methane ice that condenses on many crater rims, the collections of dark tholins in low areas like the bottoms of craters, and the layering on the faces of cliffs and crater walls. In those areas where the reddish material is thickest and the surface appears smooth, the material seems to have flowed into some channels and craters. Scientists say tholin deposits of that thickness are not usually mobile on large scales, suggesting that they might ride along with ice flowing beneath or blown by Pluto's winds. Scientists believe these bizarre phenomena may form through ice fracturing and evaporation. The latest batch of Pluto images from NASA's New Horizons mission has revealed previously unseen topographic details on the strange icy world. The images explained in detail what the planet's surface looked like and gave scientists a head on the look of things over there. Do you think the planet could hold the probability of hosting life? Let's know your opinion in the comments box. Kindly subscribe to our channel and click the notification button to get updated on our videos. See you in the next video.